Red lights on here in Texas. And here in round 6, Stephen Beecham will lead the field away as the lights are out and away we go. And Stephen down into turn 1 gets a good start, as so does Scones. And Scones up into P4, is Lime already up into P2 on the outside of TJ. And a brilliant start there for Lime, as there's big contact into turn 1. Someone's got damage down into turn 1 already. Not quite sure who picked up the damage, but already through turn 1, it's A54 with damage in the V-curb. As Zampa leaves the track, so does D Summers ahead of him as well. Sci-Fi down, already lost a second. Sci-Fi with big damage here, as well as Raheem up to P12. But Lanky is down to the back. Not quite sure what's happened. Lanky as Ellis off the track here as well with big damage as well. Meanwhile, Jimmy Dwyer, Dub Z, all involved here. Raheem as well. Oh, and Dub clips the rear of Jimmy Dwyer. Side by side they go. Andrew gets through on both of them, as Lanky trying to find a way through on Dub. Dub washing it wide. Has less downforce because of that wing damage on the front end, as Stephen Beecham sets the fastest lap. As him and Lime disappear off in the distance with TJ on the hard tyres. Not working. Switching to Pan. And it seems Ledgeman and Ollie Bean really not having the ideal day, having to switch to Pan. Here's Lime on the inside of Stephen Beecham. Side by side they go, they battle. And Lime in the Aston Martin may have to back out now. But round the outside, can he find the grip in the Aston Martin here? He may have found the grip. And Lime now into the lead of the race here in the Aston Martin. As Stephen, no, and Lime's around it. He's caught Stephen. I don't believe it. As TJ back into the lead of the race. As Scones gets through on Stephen, but absolute heartbreak again for Stephen. It seems like Stephen will never catch a break here, as Stephen tries to keep it ahead of Ty, but I can't believe it again. Stephen, no matter what he does, it seems like he can never get a win here in WHF Tier 2. Meanwhile, Scones on the inside of TJ. Can Scones get into the lead of the race? Scones down the inside of TJ. Side by side they go. Down into turn 1, and TJ going to keep it ahead on the hard tyres. And can Scones finally get into the lead of the race here as we start lap 5? Scones now charging down the main straight now, and Scones in the Aston Martin up into the lead of the race. And Scones hopefully not getting a nosebleed at this time, as Crimson trying to find a way through, and Gunner's made a mistake through turn 1. Crimson now round the outside trying to find a way through, but can't find an opening. And Scones now already flashing. TJ can see the Aston Martin driver flashing, and TJ will re-inherit the lead as the Alpine gets ahead of the Aston Martin here. Then finally, as Lanky on the inside of both Red Bulls, and Lanky gets through of both Red Bulls as Raheem almost into the rear, which opens the door to Northey, and Raheem gets back ahead of Northey. Meanwhile, Ty Clear now looking down the inside of Scones. Is Ty going to go for the move? There's a little look on the inside, and can Ty get through on Scones? And Ty does get through on Scones. Maybe overheating his rears a little bit, as TJ now trying to drop the hammer ahead of Ty, as we had Crimson down the inside of Gunner, and Crimson with a lovely move gets ahead of the Sauber, and the Sauber are going to have to try and fight his way back past the McLaren, as Ollie Bean picks up a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty and retires from the session. But Gunner now going to try and get back ahead of Crimson now, picks the outside of the McLaren as they battle down into turn 12, and Crimson outbreaks the Sauber as the Sauber looks for the switchback out of turn 12 through turn 13. Going to look for another switchback if the Sauber can find the traction, but Crimson now going to look on the inside of Stephen Beecham, going to send it later than the Ferrari, as the Ferrari now round the outside battling with the McLaren. Can Crimson find a way through? Stephen now going to look to out-drag the McLaren, but is he going to be boxed in by the Red Bull? Going to try and get a nose out there now. It's 3 wide down the back straight here in Texas, as Stephen now gets ahead of the Red Bull. Oh, and a little bit of contact with Crimson there, as Stephen gets round the outside. We also seen Lime get ahead of Northey. Pit, I believe, lap 1. And as a snap of the rear again, Stephen probably getting flashbacks from earlier in the race when he did see the Aston Martin spinning across him. And Sci-Fi now going to back out. Crimson dives it down the inside. And what a move from the McLaren. could see Sci-Fi rejoining the racing line, and brilliant move there from the McLaren. As Crimson now going to try and get ahead of Stephen Beecham now, and on the much fresher tyres the McLaren will get ahead. But can Stephen hold on to the rear of Crimson? This could be big for Stephen's race. Surely Stephen going to let his teammate through. However, these two are championship rivals. Stephen leads the championship on 88 points. Meanwhile, Ty Clare on 81 points. Only 7 points separate the Ferrari pair, as Ty Clare does get ahead of Stephen, and surely he's going to let through his teammate of Scones, and he does just that. Meanwhile, Ty Clare down the inside of Crimson into turn 12. Ty brakes much later, and a fantastic move from the Ferrari there, as Scones now up into P4, as Crimson back down the inside of turn 13 on Ty Clare, and all of that battling is helping Scones get back inside DRS range as well, because TJ will have to try and dispatch both of these cars now, as Scones going to dive it down the inside of Crimson into turn 12. Was very deep. Crimson goes for the switchback, gets it, but who is DRS here? Then Scones will have better tyres here, and as we see, TJ unable to get ahead of the Aston. The Aston doing well here, as TJ going to look down the inside of turn 13, as we get a horrible camera angle and a lovely move from TJ. Gets a brilliant move out of turn 13, and now Scones has got to try and do everything he can to keep inside DRS range of the Alpine. Meanwhile, Lime on the inside of D. Summers down to turn 11. D. Summers with a lovely switchback they're going to get through on the Aston Martin driver, as Crimson watches this battle along. And who has DRS? It's Lime actually has DRS on the rear of D. Summers, but D. Summers going to go defensive, and Lime going to try down the inside again as Crimson round the outside. 3 wide, big calamity, as Crimson picks up another time penalty following that contact. But a 3 wide moment, and big contact between all 3 of them there. I'm sure is frustrated in this battle. Meanwhile, Raheem and Northey battle again, as Andrew on the outside now. A big contact with the Red Bull there of Northey, I believe. And Northey, big contact with Andrew, as Raheem now looking to battle, as we get horrible camera angles, and Northey and Raheem go side by side, as Northey may lose out to both drivers. TJ, meanwhile, unable to get ahead of Ty Clare, as Ty Clare looking for his second win of the season, and this may even give Ty the championship lead here in Tier 2. TJ's going to give it absolutely everything here on the rear of Ty, as he closes down to turn 12, and TJ with a biblical send down the inside of Ty, and he catches the rear of the Ferrari, but it was just too little too late, and Ty did leave room for the Alpine, but the Alpine was just too far back to go for that move, and Ty will keep it ahead here in the Ferrari. Ty Clare now will round the final corner here in Kota, and here in round 6 before the mid-season break, Ty Clare wins in Kota and takes the championship lead with him as well. Meanwhile, TJ finishes P2, and Scones with his first podium in WHF with his new wheel up to P3. Fantastic result there from Scones, as Crimson crosses the line but finishes down behind D. Summers and Stephen Beecham, as there's a yellow flag around, I believe, for Zampa here. But Scones with his first podium, as Ty will pick up the championship lead here in Tier 2 as we head into the mid-season break. Ferrari lead the constructors as we head into the mid-season break, but it will be as we see Dub and Raheem battle over the ladder positions as Lanky jumps Gunner. Ferrari will lead the constructors into the mid-season break, but it'll be Ty who will take the championship lead off his teammate here as we head into the second half of the season. Meanwhile, Factory crosses the line behind Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi will keep ahead on penalties, as Dubsy will try and get ahead of Raheem here, as Andrew finishes ahead of Factory because of penalties. Lanky says I was spun at the start. Stewart's going to love this one, as I'm sure the Stewart's going to be very busy after that lap 1, as Dubsy finishes behind Raheem. Raheem in P14 as Northey picks up the last point paying position. And there you have it. Ty Clare wins for the second time this season, and with it takes the championship lead as we head into the summer break. Meanwhile, TJ finishes in P2, followed by Scones getting his first ever podium in WHF, as both Lime and Stephen, after their contact, recovered a P4 and P6, respectively, with also Stephen picking up the fastest lap as well, as D Summers was able to hold off Stephen until the end to pick up P5. And as we look at what that's done to the standings, Tyclear takes the championship lead ahead of Stephen, his teammate, by 3 points. Meanwhile, TJ also climbs in the championship standings. TJ only 8 points behind Ty now, along with Crimson and Lime closing as well. As we head into the mid-season break, the championship could still go any direction. Nothing has been decided with 6 races to go. Who can win the championship here in Tier 2 WHF? Thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like, follow and subscribe, and send this to your nan. I've been WHF. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.